all of my boss babes, my mothers, my self-employed baddies, my students, all of you women who overwork, who spend so much time evoking energy outside of your beautiful selves, that your sparkle becomes depleted. And maybe one day you look in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself. So we're going to talk about what the sparkle is. We're going to talk about how to restore it and why it's important as feminine essence beings to be connected to our sparkle. Welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda Helen, and I love to talk about all things nervous system care, feminine embodiment and feminine magnetism, as well as how to work in a more delicious and sustainable way. So thank you for being here. Overworked women is who this video is addressed to. So it's anyone really with a feminine essence, meaning that you identify as someone who loves to receive, to flow through life, who loves to be radiant and to be seen in your radiance, who feels most at home in softness. Even if you don't embody these things now, you crave them. You feel like you would love to have more of them. And then anyone with female hormones. Female hormones are cyclical in a broader scope, so in a more 28-day cycle, and male hormones are cyclical in a 24-hour cycle. So that actually has a big impact on why we might be overworked and depleted in a world that is set up to support the male hormone cycle. If you're overworked, this might mean that you are drained, depleted, you might feel dull, you might feel hardened, you might feel kind of wound up, like you need to control your world. Maybe you feel like something is missing. Now, this very much could be someone who is at home in what they do in the world, whether it's working for a company that they love, whether it's starting a business that they adore, whether it's staying at home with their children. So maybe it's not about what you're doing, but it's about how you're approaching what you're doing and the consciousness in which you're approaching. I find that the state of being overworked is often a state of being. It's a way of thinking, it's a way of doing in the world, no matter what it is that you're doing. So what is the sparkle? When I say sparkle, I'm referring to your vitality, your radiance. It's life force energy that is unleashed in the body and flows through the sparkle in your eyes. It flows through the glow in your skin. It flows through a radiant way of being, something that, you walk into the room and your presence is refreshing. Who you are is refreshing to others. It's when creativity flows easily through you. You don't have to strive and effort to come up with ideas. You don't have to create logic models and Venn diagrams and have brainstorming sessions. You are in flow, meaning that your ideas come through you when you're driving, when you're taking a shower, when you're dancing in a yoga class, because you're so tapped into the life force energy of the universe that your life is effortless. You effortlessly create. Things come to you, which is feminine magnetism. This sparkle, if you have a feminine essence to you, to your body, to your soul, to your way of being, and we all have feminine and masculine energy. We all need both. But if you feel most at home, most at peace in your feminine essence, when you lose that sparkle, you feel like something big is missing. When you think of sparkle, consider nature. Consider the way that life force energy flows through, excuse me. I got something in my throat. I was on a roll there. Consider the way that life force energy flows through a waterfall or a field of wildflowers, or the way a sun rises over the ocean. That same energy, Mother Nature, the way that nature flows in life, expresses life, is feminine essence. The masculine is the witnessing of that essence. So as feminine essence beings, when we have that sparkle, that same sparkle of a waterfall, that same sparkle of the rainforest, we feel at home. We feel at peace. So it doesn't matter what role you're in. It doesn't matter if you're studying as a full-time student. It doesn't matter if you've worked for years and climbed the ladder of the corporate world and love what you do. It doesn't matter if you have started your own business and are nurturing that business. It doesn't matter how fulfilling your role is. If you are a mother and love being a mother, if you are a combination of all of these things, if your role is fulfilling externally, but your sparkle is depleted, you will feel like something's missing. You will feel agitated. You will feel restless. And you might not notice that until things get quiet because you're so focused on the doing. You might not notice until those quiet mornings when you wake up and you're washing your face and there's not a lot going on. And you might not notice until you're in that yoga class and you're in the final resting pose and you're feeling into your body. You might not notice until, you go on a vacation or a weekend retreat and you realize that there's this big gap between what you're doing and who you are. So this video and the work that I offer is for women who feel like there's a gap there between their plentiness, their vitality, the way that they show up in their radiance and the work that they do. Now, you still might be great at it. You still might love it. And it's also for that person who feels like there isn't that big of a gap, but they want to be preventative and to not lose their sparkle. Because to be honest, our world is set up to condition us to work in a way that is honoring of masculine energy, of going outside of ourselves to get the thing, of persevering, of pushing, of overcoming challenges, all amazing. But when this becomes the only way in which we effort or do, then we become overworked. So if you want to be active in not creating a gap over time, of not creating this this lack of connection with yourself as you work, then the work that I'm going to be doing this year and moving forward will be really, really relevant to you. Hi, Nav. Thanks for saying hi. Welcome. Welcome to my channel. Okay. So this sparkle, you know what this sparkle is. How does it get lost? It gets lost by overworking and overgiving. Now, I'm not saying working and giving. I'm saying overworking and overgiving, right? Doing the most. And often we do this, it's funny, not because so much that life demands it. It's almost like we are conditioned to do it. So we create more things to do. We create more responsibilities. It's what we've been conditioned to do. So we do a lot and we do too much and we work harder and not smarter. So this overworking and overgiving without replenishment will deplete our spark. It will create a dim, dull energy about us. If we're attending to everything outside of ourselves rather than ourselves, then we're not replenishing and we're not pouring in, then there's not a lot left to give. Now, think of the sun and the moon. If you think of yourself, someone with a feminine essence, the moon receives light and then it gives this beautiful, glowing, enchanting light from the light it receives. So it's a receptive giving. You receive, you pour in, and then you give from that overflow rather than finding a way to kind of stoke your own flame. Or how do I put this? If you have a masculine essence, it almost just gives you energy to give, 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 give. If you have a feminine essence, you feel more at home in this soft way of giving. Now, there's still plenty to give, but it's because you've received. You feel so at home in receiving. So if there's no replenishment, and replenishment can look like a lot of ways. A lot of things. It can look like, taking the time to go to the class that nourishes you. It can look like taking a weekend to yourself. It can look like waking up early in the morning and lighting a candle and journaling. It can look like spending time out in nature. It looks different for everyone, but the frame needs to be of how am I replenishing? And often in the morning, this can be a really nice time to do that, filling your cup in the morning so that that giving can come from a more full place and not a place that's depleted. And then not honoring our cycles. Women are such cyclical beings. Mother Nature is cyclical. So feminine energy is cyclical. And when we pay attention to our hormone cycles, when we pay attention to, if we're ovulating, if we're bleeding, the period of time in between both of these states, then we can understand to what capacity, what our biology is suggesting that will optimize the way in which we're showing up. Because in that period of time when we're menstruating, there is a deep inherent intelligence to being still, to being quiet. Whereas when we're ovulating, there is a biological, we're favored to show up in radiance, in public speaking and showing up to meetings. There's so much biology behind this, and it would really take its own video. I've done a video about it. I'll continue to talk about it. But because we mostly work the same 24-hour day or have the same 24-hour schedule, despite what these chunks of time, these seasons in our biology are doing, then we can start to become depleted. If we're working that same 24 hours in ovulation as we are in menstruation, we're going to feel depleted during menstruation. So honoring and paying attention to our cycles, and this can be a broadened scope too, of just overall cycles of life, of letting ourselves have our winters. We always, I feel like in our society, revere and honor the summers. We just want to constantly be in summer. But winter, all of nature goes inward. All of nature becomes still and replenishes and revives and rests. And as women, if we don't do that, then we're just going to be in a state of giving, of rising, of growing. So honoring cycles is a really big way that the sparkle gets lost. And why do we want to sparkle? What's the point, right? So if you have a feminine essence, you're going to hear the word sparkle and there's a part of you that's going to say, I want to sparkle. Like it's just in your nature. It's just in your blood. It's just in your energy field. It's in your heart. You want to feel sparkly. You want to feel glittery. You want to feel vibrant and radiant. So if you're hearing sparkle and it's a feeling that's pulling you to it, there doesn't need to be a logical why. You just want to. It's in your essence. You feel at peace and at home when you sparkle. So in that way, there's not necessarily a convincing, there's a pulling towards. And then feminine magnetism is a really big benefit to sparkling. So I think in general, as women, as feminine essence beings, it feels more fulfilling to have things respond to our energy, to draw them in, to respond to our radiance, than it does having to persevere and hunt what we want, to create a roadmap and, check things off of these big lists. Now, don't get me wrong. I love creating a to-do list. I love checking things off. I love overcoming challenges. It feels so good to persevere. But for me, it feels better when I amp up my energetic aura, when I become the energy of plenty, and when invitations and things come to me naturally. That feels more rewarding. That feels more native to me. So when I get an opportunity because I'm feeling so good, I'm listening to amazing music, I'm cooking, and then I get an email inviting me to do X, Y, and Z. Or I'm out in public at the grocery store and I run into so-and-so who sees me and it makes them think of this thing and then they invite me to that thing. That feels better to me, this feminine magnetism, than strategizing who to reach out to and who to approach and how to approach them. So amping up that sparkle creates a magnetism where your life can work like that. The efforting, if you will, comes from pouring into yourself. And the external reality responds to how you pour into yourself. And that creates irresistible energy, and your whole life will shift in accordance. So that is a huge benefit. Then, how do we restore? So how do we restore our sparkle? And I use the word restore because it's in you, my love. It's in you. It hasn't gone out. Your sparkle hasn't died. It's who you are. It's just been dim. It's just been covered up with the hardness, with, being wound up and trying to control your circumstances. So it just needs a little love. It needs you to blow some oxygen on it, to nurture it, to sit with it. And we can do these things through nervous system care. So nervous system care is a lot of what I talk about on my channel. Think working through trauma, think self-care, think, think shifting your schedule a little bit to prioritize toning your nervous system, moving out of a state of survival and into a state of rest and digest. It also comes with shifting your consciousness and your frame. So understanding that there is a whole amazing energetic field around us that if we align with it, it will move our life forward naturally. That is the sparkle, actually. This field that all life forms are tapped into, that nature is tapped into, is life force energy. It is vitality. So when we know how to tap into it, and I will share this information actually in my upcoming masterclass called Restore Your Sparkle, a masterclass for overworked women. I'm going to be sharing how to shift your consciousness and move your consciousness. So if this information is really resonating with you, check out that masterclass. I'm hosting it live, but the replay will be available. So even if you're listening to this after the date that I'm hosting, you can still purchase the replay. And I'm going to be giving some very tangible ways for you to stoke that inner flame, to blow it back to life. I'm also going to be offering a couple of bonuses of practices that you can do daily to restore that glitter, restore that vitality. So nervous system care, shifting your consciousness and your frame. These things will help restore your sparkle. And then of course, once that internal sparkle is energized, is revitalized, is renewed, then you can start to do the things that feel best. You can dress it up, right? Like wear the makeup that you love, do your hair in a way that you enjoy, that you feel good in, wear the clothes that you like. But all of that stuff comes secondary to evoking the glow in your body, to evoking that auric state of being that is so magnetic. Then you can adorn what you've created with the extras. And that can also help to restore the sparkle. And, it can feel really good too. Dressing well and presenting yourself well can help amplify that which is within you already. So when I'm wearing an outfit I like, or I have my hair done in a certain way, I feel more sparkly. So that is a piece of restoring the sparkle. I want you to remember that you can still be your badass self. You'll just be even more badass when you sparkle more, right? This isn't about just living the soft life. If you want to live the soft life, live the soft life. But if you want to still work, if you like working, if you enjoy the output of being with your children all day, if you want to do a bit of both, you get to do all of that and you get to be radiant. There's a way to do that. Often when we think of self-care, we think, oh, I'm going to restore my sparkle, but it's going to take away from all these other aspects of my external reality, which I love. It's not a sacrifice. It actually will amplify all of those areas. And, by proxy, when women feel better, when we are calm, when we are level-headed, when we feel luscious in our bodies, everyone in our life benefits from that. Everyone. Our coworkers, our colleagues, our friends, our children, our spouses, partners, strangers like the barista at the coffee shop, the server at the restaurant. When we feel plenty, we have so much more to give. We have more to give to our work, to our business. It's honestly how women work. And it's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about restoring the sparkle in women who have been overworked, because the world will be a better place. Not only will you feel better, but everything around you will be better. I am such an advocate for supporting feminine energy because it's not an energy that is supported in mainstream society. There's a lot that's being done now in the social media realm, a lot of education. All of that is so amazing. I'm so glad there's a movement back towards that. But rather than just learning about it, implementing it is really important. Actually doing it, actually feeling it, getting out of the head, getting out of the logic, out of the learning, and into actually practicing these things. So if that's something that you want to do, if you're ready, join me in this masterclass. It's a small step towards that. And then I have so many offerings outside of that to support you. But if you just want a small step, join me there. There'll be a Q&A session. I'll answer your unique questions, your unique situations, and I will help you take that first step. Whether you're someone who's already depleted, already drained, or if you're someone who wants to avoid being drained, avoid being depleted in the future, this class is going to be for you. Please like this video, leave me a comment, say hi. I didn't just launch, but I'm revitalizing my TikTok. So I have a TikTok, science.and.magic. It's linked in the show notes. And I also am reviving my Instagram. I'm starting to share way more short form content. So follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm so excited for this new year. Thank you for showing up for yourselves. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your coworkers will thank you. Your children will thank you. Your partners, spouses will thank you. Friends will thank you. And let's do this. Stop making excuses. Let's finally restore our sparkle. Thank you so, so much.